Before I really dive into this, the majority of this video is me speaking negatively of Phil Jackson, so I'll start the video by speaking positively about the guy. He drafted Porzingis, and Kristaps is going to be one of the best players in the league for a long time, given that he's over 7 feet tall, can shoot from everywhere, he's got skills with the ball in his hand, he finishes well around the rim, he seems to have the potential of being a damn good defensive player, and the zinger is great. On top of that, they also have their first round pick this season, which is probably going to be potentially top 5, which you could then get a really good player with. Also, you have Hernan Gomez, who seems like an intriguing center for his ability to be creative around the rim with pump fakes and hook shots and just weird angle jumpers, and very good rebounder. Seems like he's a high energy guy. There are some things to be excited for the Knicks moving forward, so I don't think Phil Jackson has just put them into this hole that doesn't have a way out. I like the future for this team, but we do need to talk about Phil. But then there's a whole lot of negatives, and I mean a lot of negatives, whether it be coaching decisions of Derek Fisher and Kurt Rambis, trying to get his team to implement the triangle offense, which is just not going to work in 2017 NBA, feuding with Carmelo Anthony like a 5th grader, and Carmelo Anthony was not the one being immature, as well as just some questionable signings and trades along the way. I think Phil needs to go, y'all. I think that is just apparent at this point, given his 3 seasons with the Knicks. Let's go down the negatives. Way back in the very beginning, he traded Tyson Chandler, who was on a 1-year deal. So even if he wasn't that great anymore, you could have got out of his contract at the end of the year. They traded him for Jose Calderon, who was on a 40-year deal, and Calderon wasn't good. So not only could you have just held on to Chandler to free up all that salary at the end of the season, you also could have waited till mid-year, because I'm sure a lot of teams would have liked Chandler if he was still a decent player, but you just threw that out the window to get a guy who was not good, and he locked you in for 4 years. Then we can go to the trading of J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert. I understand trading away J.R. Why'd you throw Shumpert into the deal as well? For one, I think Shumpert could have been a nice player to hold onto as the team was rebuilding, given that he was a defensive player and all that. But if you were going to trade Shumpert, you could have just gotten something else for him. Another team could have given you a 2nd round pick or something for the guy. It wasn't like he was a worthless player. And then there was the Joakim Noah signing. That one's pretty bad, and the Knicks are going to be feeling it for a minute, as Noah has just been given a lot of money for a lot of seasons, and he's simply not that good anymore. It's too bad, because when he was good, he was fantastic as a defensive player and a guy who could be a playmaker, a rebounder, an awesome defender, and all that. But unfortunately, it is what it is now with Noah. And as bad as all those are, and they're pretty bad, they might not even be the worst thing that Jackson has done. Because, one, the guy keeps holding on to this triangle offense in 2017 thing, and he tells the head coaches that he's going to hire that they have to run the triangle or else they're not going to be on the team. Dude, it's 2017, okay? LeBron James and Kyrie Irving are running isolations and pick and rolls, spreading the floor with shooters, and they can kick out to them. The Houston Rockets surprised the hell out of everybody by playing that style of ball with James Harden. I mean, realize the era that you're in and see what's successful for other teams, and then do that. The Knicks are 20th in 3-pointers attempted at the moment, and then if we look at 4 of the top 5 teams in the league in 3-pointers attempted, number 1's Houston, number 2's the Cavaliers, number 3 is the Celtics, number 5's the Warriors, number 4 is the Nets. Ignore that one, please. There's a correlation between making 3-pointers. I mean, the one great season the Knicks have had with Carmelo Anthony on the team, they were jacking up 3-pointers like crazy people and moving the ball along the perimeter. And it's funny how ever since that year, the Knicks have been like, no, we're not going to do that again. And the funny thing is, Jeff Hornacek is a guy who's run pick-and-roll offense in the past, especially that season where Phoenix surprised a lot of people with Goran Dragic and, Bledsoe killing it and all that. But I saw an article recently where the biggest problem with the Knicks this season has been inconsistencies. Guys don't know going into practice like what they're going to do. Are they going to run pick and roll style? Are they going to run triangle style? It just sounds like influence from Phil Jackson to me, because Jeff Hornacek wasn't associated with the triangle really at all in his days with Phoenix. He comes here, and now this team, they don't know what they're doing. And the thing is, like, when you look at the roster, Derrick Rose may have declined a bit. I still think the guy knows how to get a screen from Porzingis and go off of that. Porzingis is the perfect pick-and-roll big man. Spread the floor with Courtney Lee and Melo. There's something there. But instead, Phil wants them to run an offense that just simply doesn't work in today's game. And if it is going to work, it's not going to work with the level of talent that they have on this team. I mean, look at a team like the Miami Heat right now. From a talent perspective, they're not, like, setting the world on fire. Like, yeah, Dragic is great, Whiteside's very good and all that, but those guys, they run pick and rolls like madmen, they move the ball around, they shoot threes, and they're energetic as hell on defense, which is the opposite of the Knicks in every way. So yeah, Phil, either get out or drop the triangle offense BS for 2017 and moving into 2018. But we can also talk about Phil's just immaturity when it comes to the shots at Carmelo Anthony. Like, dude, what the hell? You're the, president of basketball operations, I assume is his title for this Knicks team. Why are you taking subliminal shots at Carmelo Anthony all the time? He's your star player, he's loved by the fans, and he's a model citizen. Like, when has Melo ever been like a huge distraction for this Knicks team? And Phil has just been looking like a third grader when he has dealt with Carmelo Anthony this season. It just creates a black cloud over the franchise. Like, whenever the team is on the court playing, there's just the elephant in the room of like, well, Phil Jackson hates the star player and he would love for him to be traded at any moment. You can't win like that. And then you combine that with the triangle offense stuff on top of the bad signings, the bad trades and all that, and it's like, well, here you go, Phil Jackson. He just hasn't done that great of a job, if you ask me. So I think Phil needs to go. James Dolan needs to fire him or not re-sign him if his contract is up this season. I don't really care. Just don't have him be there next year. Number 2, get a general manager who knows that he's in 2017 of the NBA. I don't necessarily think you need to fire Jeff Hornacek. The guy has had good offense in the past. I've seen him run pick and roll basketball that was really good when he had a point guard who could do it. But then, that leads you to the point guard position. I would not re-sign Derrick Rose, given how much he's declined as a shooter, a defensive player, a playmaker. Yeah, I mean, he might be okay for mid-range, but I just don't think it's good enough. And you're probably going to have to use your draft pick this season on a point guard. There's quite a few entering the draft. I don't think you'd have a chance at Fultz or Lonzo Ball, but there's still Dennis Smith, there's De'Aaron Fox. There's guys out there that you can get for that point guard position. Get someone who can run it with Porzingis well. And then when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, I mean, if you get an offer that you feel would really be able to help you out in the long term, then great, go for it. But if you don't, I don't think it's a bad thing to be rebuilding while Carmelo Anthony is still on your team. I mean, he's a damn good scorer. He takes some of the pressure off of Porzingis. He's a mature locker room guy who's a good veteran for younger dudes. Like, I'm cool with keeping Carmelo Anthony, but at the same time, if you get an offer that really knocks your socks off and he would accept it given his trade clause, screw it, go for it.